Well, I really don't know about too many presidents, Robin, other than people have been calling in with stories. As you say...
Of presidents and their weirdness? Or their problems?
Now, President Bush had a problem, didn't he, with his sons, actually?
Yes, I think almost all of them.
And you're saying that Clinton has a cousin who was
in jail.
In jail.
Or a stepsister in jail.
Now, I know Ulysses S. Grant.
Yeah.
His mother would urinate in ladies' purses.
Stop that.
When they weren't looking. I'm not kidding.
That's ridiculous.
And that was a big scandal. I read about it in my history book. But you never hear that much about it because they try to silence these things.
They tried to squelch it.
That's right. Now, James Madison, you ever hear of him?
Oh, yeah, of course.
What number president was he?
What was he, 2, 3, something like that?
Something like that. His niece would blow her snot into her rice pudding and then eat it. Believe it or not.
These are kind of obscure problems, don't you think?
But it was embarrassing nevertheless. In those days, you don't realize. Nowadays, that wouldn't be a big deal. You just say, okay, the person's
She's just
disgusting.
a fun girl.
Back then, that was scandalous. Then Teddy Roosevelt's stepmother.
Yeah,
he had a stepmother, as you know. His first mother died. Teddy Roosevelt's stepmother poisoned 11 of the milkmen who came to Sagamore Hill.
Uh-huh.
And then secretly married and then raped their corpses in the basement. And then you had, you had John Adams, Robin.
Yeah.
Who was
John Quincy.
John Quincy Adams had twin nieces who used to rape their family dog with a fence post.
Both of them used to do it. They used to do it together.
All presidents had scandal. Thomas Jefferson had scandal.
Yeah, what was his?
He had a brother.
Yeah.
Who raped all of Thomas's slaves.
Oh.
That was something that happened there. Millard Fillmore.
Yeah.
Had a nephew who chopped up his mother and father.
What did he do with them?
He served them up in a stew at an Oval Office banquet. But the worst scandal of all, in all of history,
worst of all?
Yes, was Stonewall Jackson.
Oh, what happened?
He made love to his wife's adopted Chinese daughter. And that almost
that
cost
was
him.
Stonewall Woody.
Yeah, even in recent time. Remember, you remember Lyndon Baines Johnson. Now, there's a president we all remember.
He was not too long ago.
Yes, his niece never used tampons.
Well, what did that do?
It was very messy. But it was not a big...
That was the worst scandal of all?
Yes. That's right. And then Andrew Johnson had scandal, but it wasn't a big deal. His mother...
What?
Would smother possums to death in her underpants. But that was not considered strange at that time.
That was sport.
That was sex. Yes. Grover Cleveland's cousin, you know about?
What did he do?
He had very painful hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
And he would tuck them back into place and then smell his own fingers.
Oh.
And this was so scandalous, so outrageous.
There's a book with all this listed in it.
Yes. It was so scandalous. It's a good book, too. It was written by David Bloom, and it was fabulous. Little Known Facts, it's called. And
any more?
The only one that I can think of is Ike.
Well, we like Ike.
He was aroused during his State of the Union address.
You're kidding.
And his elementary school nephew was under the podium.
Oh, stop it.
No.
During inauguration.
No.
That's not true.
And he gave him much pleasure.
Oh.
And that almost brought down his whole presidency.
You like that?
I would have read about that if that happened.
Right.
Are you finished?
Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you.
All right.
Speaking of presidents, there's a story in the Daily News today that the president of Guatemala, Howard,
was aroused at inauguration.
Could have been.
Fully aroused.
Because he's what you call your born-again Christian.
Yes.
Of course, so, you know, he has all those attitudes and rules and regulations he lives by. But he was spotted here after attending a UN function coming out of Stringfellows.
Who is this?
The president of Guatemala.
See, there is scandal again. And that's in Guatemala. That reminds me of the scandal Nixon had.
Oh, jeez.
No, you know what? No, I'm not going to bring that up.
What?
You know what his scandal was.
What?
His
you
grandfather.
mean the 18 minutes? No?
Nixon.
No?
Nixon's grandfather was...
What?
You know about this, don't
No,
you?
I don't.
For real now.
All right.
Nixon had a grandfather who would mail Nixon's excrement to all the cabinet members.
Stop that.
And it caused such problems because the man...
It didn't happen.
It did. You don't know about it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And what about Herbert Hoover's stepmother?
Oh, God, you remembered more presidents' names.
She was on the gynecologist's table being examined, and a mouse ran out.
Oh, stop that.
And it caused great scandal. They lured it out with a piece of cheese.
Behave yourself. No, this guy who claims to be a born-again Christian,
Right.
President Jorge Serrano Elias.
Jorge. In this country, that's known as George.
Well, he's Jorge at home.
Yeah.
He was spotted by TV crews
Right.
coming out of Stringfellows, and they taped him.
Right.
And they showed it on Univision.
Univision. What is that again?
Univision. And somehow or other,
Univision.
the broadcast, the transmissions of the broadcast in Guatemala were cut off.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So anyway, the president has issued a denial. He says he was only having dinner at a place near Stringfellows.
Right.
He was not at the Topless Girl Club.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Also in the news, Todd Bridges says that racial epithets were written on the side of his house. You know Todd Bridges. He's the young man who played the older brother on Different Strokes,
Yes.
along with Gary Coleman.
Very troubled lad.
Yes, he's had his run-ins with the law, Howard. But in this latest incident, he says he found racial epithets spray-painted across the front of his house. He said, I couldn't believe that someone would do something like that. It said, "This is war. Get out, porch monkey."
Really?
He said it was in bright fluorescent orange. Police are now investigating. Of course, Bridges pleaded innocent last week to a new round of drug charges stemming from his most recent arrest last month.
They say it was the same bright orange that Jackie used on the cover of Who Farted, I Smelt It.
Yeah. Also in the news,
Yes?
there's a story about an elementary school teacher
Yes.
who was trying to teach her children, the school kids, a lesson about slavery.
You're
And-
kidding me.
No. And she, there were only 2 black kids in the class. She was trying to depict the time. So
Right.
she says, hey, you two, you're going to play slave.
It's terrible.
So she had them, reenact a slave situation in the classroom.
Right.
And now that teacher has had to apologize to the parents of those children.
She's not related to any president, is she?
No, but they do say that it's a good lesson gone awry. She had good intentions. She just went a little too far.
Just been handed a fax, Robin.
Yes?
William Howard Taft,
Oh, no.
when he was the nation's president, his
You're not
retarded aunt
Yes.
shaved her most intimate of areas, wove the hair into a blanket, and then used it to smother the neighbor's children.
Stop that.
And it brought down his whole presidency.
Oh, you. That's ridiculous.
But
And
you couldn't weave those hairs into a blanket?
I don't think so.
I see. All right. We're going to take a break, Robin. When we come back, we will continue the news.
Yes.
We will do the summation, right?
Yes, we'll wrap this up.
Wrap it up and weave it into a blanket. All right.
Who can we smother?
Yeah, right.